Well, well, well. We take this glass of water for granted. If we're city folks and we do not live on country property, we just turn on our tap and we pour a glass of water and we don't even think about it. We take it for granted. I'm CJ Jenkins with Century 21 Cornerstone right here at Lake of the Pines in Auburn, California. Thank you for looking at us today with the information we're about to share with you on wells, and more wells. Now, years ago when I lived in San Jose in 1990, we would come up and visit Mom and Dad at Lake of the Pines, and you know what we would do? We would fill our water containers because their tap water was so delicious compared to what we had in San Jose. That's compliments, by the way, of NID, Nevada Irrigation District. This is the water that they put into our faucets that we pay a fee for, and we love our water here at Lake of the Pines. But let's take it a step further, actually outside the gates. Let's say that you are on a 2, 5, 10, 20 acre parcel, and you are not going to be getting tapped water. You're going to be on a well. Wells are so important, and wells add value to your country property. You should never buy a home in the country without having a well test. Now, there's 3 parts to the well test. The first one is the yield. How many gallons per minute does your well provide for you? 3 is about the norm that we think about being necessary for a family of 4 to have 3 gallons per minute. You'll have a well inspection, and during that well inspection, they will draw the well. They'll turn the well on right away, and of course the gallons per minute will be very high. But they'll do the draw for 4 hours, and that's the natural flow of the well. How many gallons per minute comes out of your well? This is so important. The inspection will also tell you how deep the well is, if there's a holding tank. But they'll also do number 2. And number 2 part of a well inspection is, besides how much water your well produces, is does it have E. coli and does it have coliform? These are 2 unhealthy aspects of your well. Coliform can be treated much easier than the E. coli. Coliform could be any time that a well is open for repair or even an inspection, and if, let's say, a spider gets in it, or lots of air gets into that well, and there is some kind of a bacteria that grows in coliform. Coliform can be eradicated actually by shocking it. It's chlorine that goes into the well, and it gets shocked, and after 1 or 2 weeks, they turn the well back on and see if it's actually going to be eradicated. E. coli is a different matter. E. coli is more serious in a sense of coliform, and E. coli has to do with fecal particles in your well. That's basically poop in your well indirectly. It could be that you have cattle above the hill from where your well is, and that cattle urinates or goes to the bathroom, and that gets into the water table that your well is getting from the water from. So, first thing, the yield, gallons per minute of your well. Number 2 is, does it have E. coli and coliform in it, and from the test. Now, you also want to have number 3, which is called a real estate panel. A real estate panel has a number of different items in it. The common ones here is iron, salt, arsenic, magnesium, and those are the kinds of things you would want to know if they're in your well. There are filters that you can purchase and attach to your well. They may be $1,400 to $2,500 to put that into as a filter onto your well, and that could make your well water be more sustainable for you in use. in your home. So then one of the things that you will do is you will hire a service pump. Well, Service Pump is the company I hire, and they will also test the yield, do the E-coli and coliform, and also do the real estate panel. Now, the real estate panel is taken to a lab. The lab we use in this area is called Cramner. It is in Grass Valley, and sometimes those lab information gets back to you, and that takes about 10 days. So you're about to buy a country property. That seller of that country property should have their well test done before they ever go on the market. Why? Because water has value. That affects the value of the home. If you have a well that is low yielding or has some bacterial issues or some issues that need a filter with additional elements that are in your well. I have a 5-acre parcel coming on the market at the end of April, and that's going to be our first test. It's going to cost the owner $450 to do their gallons per minute and if they have E. coli and bacteria or coliform. Then we're going to pay for the real estate panel. That's additional money too. And so when we present that property to the public, we will know those very important things that tell us about the value of our well. Last week, you know what? I just had a cancellation of a buyer canceling on a country property because the seller did not pay for the well report, did not do any investigation on the well. And I'll tell you, even if the neighbors tell you they have great wells, it doesn't mean that you're going to have great wells, a great well also. So my buyer decided that they were going to step away from the property because of a number of issues in those three facets of information about your well. And I have to tell you, I am so relieved that we are not in escrow on that property. Now, the simplistic city person's perspective is, well, why don't we just drill the well deeper? And you know what? Sometimes that works, but that's not usually the way to solve the issue. Because if you have bacteria and other things, you still have the well in those in that topography, for example. So we don't want your well water to look like this. This is could be your well water, and we don't want to sell you a house or see that you have this type of water that you're providing for your family. We want your well water to be delicious, safe for you to have for your family to grow up in, to wash their hair in, to have white in their clothing when they use the laundry. We want to make sure that your well is working well for you, so you can have a safe water experience in your country home. I'm CJ Jenkins from Century 21 Cornerstone. Please give me a call if you have any questions about preparing your home for sale in the country. I'd love to give you some tips, or looking at a country property yourself. It is very important that this aspect of your purchase is well taken care of so you're protected. So give me a call at 530-906-4715. Thank you for joining us today, and have a lovely glass of water. Bye-bye.